What's up guys, Protagonist here, and today I will be doing a deck profile on my very own competitive Thunder Empire deck from XBT-03 Overturn Thunder Empire. So previously I've done a how to upgrade version of the video, which is basically how you can just upgrade your basic trial deck, but this time I'll be doing a full competitive build review and why some cards are necessary in this deck. So this is the deck that I will be using for tournaments most of the time. I know you guys have been asking me for the build for a very long time, and finally it's here. I actually do a lot of modification and tests to make sure that the deck is actually maximized to its best potential. So yeah, Thunder Empires. So where to begin? So this deck is really crazy right now because first it is Gao's main's body, which is BarlBatzz, and it is so easy to use and powerful. It is one of those decks that can easily take down 20 life points from Zui, and also hold its own with its super consistency because this deck has so much search power. It is consistent OTK. So this is how ridiculous this deck is. So without further ado, let's go on to the review. So first up, we play 4 copies of the Secret Pack BarlBatzz. Yes, this is definitely one of the most expensive cards, the Secret Packs right now, because of how overhyped it is. I won't really say this card is really super powerful because honestly speaking, the trial deck BarlBatzz is almost as good. It costs less and it's as good if you basically discard one less card to do what it does. So yeah, for BarlBatzz, since I already have BarlBatzz and since I'll be using it as a body, here's a comparison of the SP to the secret form. So the SP looks really nice because it has a Gao on it. Basically, BarlBatzz is a 2 gauge monster. Unlike its counterpart, which is only 1 gauge, 2 gauge for impressive 13k attack power, 2 critical and 6k defense. He has the ability to restand because he has double attack, and of course we have one more time, which is its overturn. So in total, this card is a triple attack card. Very impressive. A size 2 triple attack is very good. And its overturn ability basically resends every single card on your field at the cost of discarding 1 and 1 gauge, which is really cheap. And because usually what you guys need to think is when to activate its overturn ability. Do you think it's the final turn? If it's the final turn, definitely I'll just pay the cost and just go for a game. If it's not the final turn and you think you could hold on, just hold on, because if you don't kill your opponents and you use the overturn, it's gonna be wasteful. So yeah, it's a very, very powerful card. Alright, so 4 copies of BarlBatzz. Another 2 copies of the trial deck BarlBatzz. Yes, only 2 copies because I actually play 4 copies of River Pain, which is a very powerful card as well. So BarlBatzz is basically the same thing, just that its overturn is instead of discarding and paying 1 gauge, you just pay 1 gauge and you can resend 2 of your Thunder Empires on the field, which is 1 less, but it's fine because you basically pay 1 less gauge, which to do, yeah, pay 1 less gauge in total because this is total 3 gauge with its overturn ability and this is total 2 gauge. So it's still really good. If you guys are starting up, don't worry about getting BarlBatzz pack because honestly this guy does the job equally good. Alright, so 4 copies of River Pain. This card is very, very powerful. There's a reason why this card is you will always see this card in every competitive Thunder Empire deck, because when this card enters the field, you can pop 1 monster. Very important, especially against Black Dragons, because they have this card called Elgod, which nullifies effect of a monster in front of it. So most of the time we actually use this guy to clear off Elgods so that you won't hinder your combos. So yeah, enter the field, pop 1. He has double attack, very, very powerful card. Double attack, then you can sack itself to go into BarlBatzz, then do another double attack. That's like total of like 1, 2, then you go to BarlBatzz 3, 4, then overturn 5. It's 5 over your grade 2 attacks for 5, which is 5 times, which is amazing. Yeah, basically you can just do a lot of combos with this card. Also you can use it defensively during a battle phase. You can actually, let's say this card on the field, you could just, your opponent will want to attack him. If you call this guy into the center somehow, your opponent attacks him, you can sack it and then change to another monster. So your opponent misses target and you have basically another monster to play your life. So it is a very, very good card. Alright, so now for size 1, we play 4 copies of the Ninja Guy. Ninja Guy is one of the staples of Thunder Empire. If you are new to the game or new to Thunder Empire, definitely pick this guy up because this is one of the most important cards in the deck. When another Thunder Empire enters the field monster, you can look at top 3 cards of the deck and look for 1 Thunder Empire added to your hand. You have to show that card to your opponent though, so take note. Reason why it's so good because it's the Durabird. A size 1 Durabird that can be reused every single time. So every turn you could call a monster and just pull off the free +1 ability, which makes this card so good. So 4 copies of Operative Spear. This card is quite controversial between many players. Some players prefer to play 3 or 2. People like me play 4. The reason why I play 4 is because I just love how much pluses it gives you in one single card. Enter the field, charge 1 gauge, heal 1 life, and draw 1 free card. That is just so good. And let's not forget that you have a lot of multi-world in this deck. So calling this guy gives you an almost instant +2. So definitely I will not miss this guy out. There's a reason why I play minimum 3 copies of a Sandcastle here, because it basically gives you the chance to have another monster another different world on the field. So yeah, Sandcastle is so very good against bounce spells. So yeah, this is a very good card. It increases consistency, and it goes really well with this guy because when you have him on the field, you summon this, you can basically get a charge and draw, then look at the top 3 cards of the deck and add 1 card to your hand. Alright, so next is 4 copies of Globes. Our man Globes is also very important in this deck. I personally like to use him a lot because first off, he gives you a free charge and draw. He's basically his cousin. He gives you a charge and draw when another Thunder Empire enters the field. And then, when this guy attacks, you can add 1 crit to a monster. Very, very good, especially with cards like BarlBatzz. You attack, give BarlBatzz the crit. So BarlBatzz 3 crit, 3 crit. Or if it's like 4 life or less, 4 crit, 4 crit, then you can resend another 4 crit. This guy is really good, improve the consistency of the deck, give you a lot of advantage. Definitely a must play. If I would say who you should use as buddy, other than BarlBatzz, you should either use him or the ninja guy. Alright, now size 0 play is basically 2 tech-in copies of Numb. Numb is great because he gives you free gauge and a free poke. This card is especially important if you're playing the other impact, which I will show you in a second. So the reason why we play Numb is because he's able to do extra attack, give you an extra gauge when you attack, itself, because its impact is at the end of the battle. This card attacks, you can send it to drop zone, pick up 1, fetch up a monster, and add it to your hand. So it gives you 1 free gauge and 1 free poke. And the most important thing is when he attacks, you can basically, let's say you actually need a BarlBatzz in your hand, but you have 1 in the drop zone. You have this in your hand on the field, preparing to stand by with a skill. You can use Numb, salvage back that BarlBatzz, then use the Real Pain's ability, go into Batz and swing, continue swinging. So yeah, this guy's great. And it's a different world so that your Commando Dragon can get a charge and draw off. Alright, next up, let's go to spells. 4 copies of BarlBatzz Link. This one you could play 3 or 4. Player preference. Personally, I like 4 because I like to see him, because this guy gives you so much advantage and so much consistency in the deck. Especially if you're playing the impact. You definitely want that extra gauge so that you can finish your opponents off. So you can only cast this if you have 3 attacks. You've done 3 or more attacks that turn. If you do look at top 3 cards of the deck, add 1 to your hand and the rest goes to the gauge. So basically it's a +2 and you gain 1 life. Very powerful card, definitely one of the best cards. Can be played in any other Dragon Ball decks, which makes this an MVP in Dragon Ball. Alright, some of the gauge accelerators. 4 copies of Offering to the Thunder Empire. The reason why I like this card is because he has very good utility. Basically allows you to choose between 2 effects, either gain 3 gauge or gain 3 life. So it actually, this is one card that actually tests the Thunder Empire's player skill. Basically, when you have this card in your hand, you must immediately think, am I gonna survive the next turn? If I'm not, basically just try to gain health. If you think you can survive and you really think you can OTK this turn, get that gauge. So it is a very good card against 3 life, which is equals to 1.5 value. So it's definitely a very good card. It's exclusive to Thunder Emperor's Fang. Alright, so 3 copies of Thunder Extract. Weapons are very important in this deck because we have a lot of cards that actually rely on weapons. You will only rely on weapon when you're playing this because you must have a BarlBatzz and a weapon. But yeah, I sometimes do play this build and side deck against certain decks. Alright, the reason why getting a weapon is very important is because weapons means more attacks, and obviously his second ability is basically pay 1 life. You can search your deck or drop zone for another Dragon World card and add it to your hand. So you cannot add any Darkness Dragon Worlds or a Katana World into your hand, but you can add 1 Dragon World monster or impact back to your hand. So sometimes if you impact in the drop zone, you can actually fetch it back if you need to go for game. And very important because I only play one set of weapons, so this at least give me a 7 weapon count in total, making the consistency higher. Some defensive spells we play is the Arc Dragon Shield. Okay, this card is actually considered defensive because he gives you 3 life, basically it equivalents to 1 attack or more. Sometimes your opponent has 2 critical monsters, and this guy has so much value. This card has so much value. Arc Dragon Shield, pay 1 gauge to gain an extra +1. Sometimes if you're really in a pinch, you use this card to draw into a shield. Good for you. 3 copies of Sandcastle. One of my personal favorite cards in the deck. The reason why is because it prevents many of the bounce bullshit that actually is one of Batz's greatest weakness. Bouncing cards. Katana will do have some bounce cards, like the Water card, which bounce back 1 Batz and you're screwed. So basically when this card's set on the field, none of your Thunder Empires can be bounced back to your hand. And counter ability, you may send this card from your field to the drop zone. If you do, for the next attack you take is reduced by 3. So basically this card is not only anti-disruptor card, this card is also a negate. So I really like this card, and also it just gives you a different world so that you can use your operative spear to trigger its effect. So consistency is key in this deck. Alright, for weapons we only play 1 set of weapons, which is Dragcross. Dragcross is single-handedly one of the best weapons right now we have. 1 gauge 1 life cost. This card cannot be destroyed, so it makes it alone is so damn good. And if you have a Batz monster on the field at the beginning of a battle phase, you can gain double attack. So it's a double attacking weapon with 2 crits and 6k power, which is great. But do take note though, if during the beginning of a battle phase you do not have Batz on the field, like if you have Reverb Pin on the field, this card doesn't gain double attack even after you call Batz on the field. So make sure if you're playing against your opponents who play Thunder Empire, be sure to check out for it. Alright, for impacts, impact I would like to do a bit of talk on the impacts. I actually play this impact right now because the meta requires you to play so. The reason why the newer impact is not so good is because there are a lot of control decks out there. For example, this impact is actually very reliant on your combos not breaking. If you're fighting against control decks such as Black Dragons, they will definitely rest your monsters, and every rest makes this gauge even harder to cast. And yes, you do deal 20 damage, but do you really need to deal that 20 damage when you're swinging for so much with your aggressive Thunder Empire deck? I personally only side this against Dragon Zwei, because sometimes even with this old impact, you will not be able to kill Zwei with their 20 life. So I use this against Dragon Zwei. I side this against Dragon Zwei. It is a great impact, don't get me wrong. And it's great against Zwei because Zwei do not have a lot of control cards, which means it is very, very, very easy to do 20 damage with them. Whereas, if you're fighting against the meta, which there are so many control cards, like Katana World, where they rest your monsters and they're screwed, this card actually does the job. It's only 3 gauge and you can do 5 damage, which is excellent in this meta. And the cast cost is only 3 attacks or more, whereas the new impact is 4 attack or more. So if you guys are playing competitively, do take note. If your meta have a lot of Dragon's Way, go for this. If your meta have a lot of not so much Dragon's Way, go for this and maybe set this. Alright, so yeah. So it's up to you. You can play either one of these. So yeah, that's the impacts. So I hope you guys enjoyed my deck profile on my personal Thunder Empire deck. Be sure to add me on Facebook and subscribe to my channel. And I really appreciate it if you guys would buy some stuff from www.buddy-mart.com to support us. So thanks for watching guys, peace out and love you guys. Rawr.